Well, hi everybody. Welcome again to Travel with Danny Deb. I'm Dan.
And I'm Deb.
Well, we're still working on our 10-day driving trip of Europe, and our next stop is Venice, which we can't wait, but we've already been there. So
we can't wait to tell you about it.
that's it. Can't wait. But first, we want to insert a little bit of driving tips here, and we might have done this earlier, so if we have, please forgive us, but just for a reminder. So right lane is usually trucks, center is people like us, left farthest third lane over is the crazy lane, and again, looking in your mirror, you see a little speck, and then boom, you get hit by a shock wave because they pass you so fast.
Yeah,
So
it was crazy.
yeah, just be careful, but trust us, you can drive Europe, right?
For sure.
All right. So tell us a little bit about Venice, Deb, and where we stayed. And
We decided to stay a little bit outside of the downtown area, not on the actual island of Venice itself. So we found an Airbnb in a kind of quaint little suburb, and it was a great place, just beautiful. The town there was super cool. We found a bunch of nice little restaurants, and it was just fun walking around and just soaking it all in.
the compound, we call it a compound
Yeah.
because it was a compound. It was gorgeous. Pool and old Italian architecture surrounded with a huge gate.
Yeah.
And should we tell them about climbing over the gate now or
Yeah,
later?
well,
Let's get it over with.
yeah, let's get it over with.
So if you're going to an Airbnb or wherever, do not use a keyless entry app that they provide on your phone. We won't say the name of this one, but the way it works is you show up, you have the app, you type in a code, the gate should open, you go up to your room, the door should unlock, and it did.
Yeah.
Except when the power went out during a storm and we had to leave on the last day. Pouring rain, we couldn't get out of the compound. The gates wouldn't open.
Yep.
None of the walkout gates would open. We had all these poor people stuck in this compound. We had to actually help a little old Italian grandmother over the fence, and this is like a cast iron pointy fence.
It was pretty tall, and she had to get over to catch a train to get to the airport.
Yeah, thank goodness she's with her daughter, but
Yeah.
you know, you don't want to be pushing up on the bone of an Italian woman over a fence. I mean, it was a little uncomfortable, but we had to help them.
Yeah.
So without getting into the rest of how we got a hold of the owner, finally he shows up and he was able to manually open the gate. So we don't recommend places where you have to use an app to get into your location because if the internet's out, you're toast.
You are toast.
But let's talk about the good stuff.
Yep.
Venice.
Venice.
So we jumped on the train.
Yeah, it was right by our place we were staying, so we were just able to walk up there, hop on, and then take the train into Venice.
And what's cool is the train station in Venice is right there. I mean, you get off the train and then, remember we walked out and all of a sudden, there it is.
Yeah,
I mean,
the Grand Canal. It was amazing.
remember when we got lost back there? I mean, purposely got lost. Talk a little bit about.
That was the coolest thing because all of the tourists all congregate in the really popular areas on the Grand Canal and the bridges that go over and all that. And it was quite crowded, and we decided to go exploring more in depth back there. So we just took off and we just went because you can't get too lost here on an island. You'll find your way back sooner or later.
Talk about restrooms in Venice, Deb.
Restrooms in Venice, you have to pay a fee, so make sure you have change on you. If we, for whatever reason, we didn't know that when we got there, and we had no change, so we had to go find some place where we could buy something little and get some change. There's signs on the buildings that point to where the restrooms are, and they're clean and pretty accessible.
So there's so much to see in Venice. Should we just start with St. Mark's Square?
St. Mark's Square is located in the Piazza San Marco and is easily accessible from the Grand Canal.
Well, speaking of the Grand Canal, you know, Venice has literally hundreds of canals that connect the various islands that make up the city. And the largest canal is the Grand Canal. The large canal is more like a river as it passes from one side of Venice to the other. You'll see over 170 buildings dating from what, I think they're 13th century? Yeah, these buildings line the banks of the canal, and it serves as an important waterway in the city for hundreds of years. Only 4 bridges span the Grand Canal, and the canal's kind of like a busy street in New York, but instead of yellow taxis running around, you've got boats, motorboats, Water taxis, I think, the way to go.
Oh, definitely.
Super inexpensive, and man, you just have your pass, you get on, you get off, you get on, you get off.
So one of the most renowned buildings in Venice outside of the Basilica is the Doge's Palace. This overlooks the Grand Canal. This ornate palace is stunning, and its front facade features a beautiful, gorgeous arch design made of white stone and a series of diamond patterns on the walls.
Well, we can't forget the bridges of size.
It is so cool. It's really pretty, and it's a small bridge in the relative scheme of Venice. The bridge of size is one of the most viewed structures in the cities and is an important historic landmark. It's this tiny little bridge between two buildings over a canal, and it's just really, really pretty.
And as legend says, or has it, the prisoners would be taken over that bridge from one side to the other. They would glance at Venice and sigh.
Oh, I have to say I would sigh too if I was walking over the bridge and have one last look at Venice.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of walking, and if you do go and it's hot, so take care of yourself when you're doing that much walking. A lot of water around, but make sure you drink it.
Yeah,
I mean,
for
not
sure.
from the canal.
No, not the canal. Bring plenty of bottles of water with you.
So these gondolas, you know, we've always dreamt of going on a gondola. Did we do it? No. Well, a couple of reasons. You know, we didn't want to be typical tourists, but go ahead, you do it if you want. They're super expensive.
Yeah.
Really expensive. So we found out later you can find out, you know, get about 3 or 4 people with you and just split the
Split
thing.
it. Yep.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Well, that's it for Venice. I mean, man, there's so much to cover. We only covered maybe 2 to 5% of it.
A little bit.
Yeah, so we encourage you to look at other videos too before you go, not just ours. And so our next and our last city on our 10-day driving trip of Europe is going to be
Rome.
Rome. So we can't wait to roam with you in Rome. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.